Well, the Ethiopian Prime Minister and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Abiy Ahmed is expected to meet President Cyril Ramaphosa today. The Prime Minister arrived in the country on Friday and was one of the dignitaries at the ANC's 108th anniversary celebrations. Let me bring in Sophie Mokoena now. She's our foreign editor. She's at the Union Buildings for this visit. Sophie, very good morning to you once again. Let's talk about this visit. And basically, it's to consolidate the political, social, as well as economic activities between the two countries. What are the economic activities between South Africa and Ethiopia currently?
Well, indeed, a lot. You know that in terms of the economic activities, South Africa and Ethiopia have strong activities where the products of South Africa are being exported to Ethiopia, but also in terms of human capacity, or one can call a diplomatic capacity, people to people. We have strong relations. We have many Ethiopian community in South Africa who are doing business in South Africa. And you also have some of the South African companies doing business in Ethiopia, but the two countries would want to increase the trade relations between these two countries. But also, you know that Ethiopia is currently building a dam. It's a dam called Renaissance Dam. That Renaissance Dam, it's hoped that it will be able to generate electricity capacity for Ethiopia. And therefore, Ethiopia will be one country that is very progressive. Should they be able to finish that project and electrify the country? Currently, the access to electricity in that country stands at 44%. You know, South Africa is way above that. It is for that reason we are having these challenges of demand on electricity in South Africa. And South Africa, of course, can learn a lot from Ethiopia in terms of them starting this hydroelectric power at a time where we are battling with electricity capacity here in South Africa.
You know, there's this strong theme this year with regards to the silencing of guns in Africa. It forms part of this theme also of the 32nd ordinary session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government in Addis Ababa happening next month. In terms of silencing the guns, Sophie, what role can Ethiopia play in this regard?
Well, as I indicated, that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is the man who is working hard to ensure that there's peace in the IGAD region or the Horn of Africa. And he has now extended his quest, but also his activities in trying to ensure that what he is doing in that region is being done in other areas as well. As I indicated earlier on, he played a very important role in ensuring that the military and the civilians in Sudan are able to, or they are both able to find one another. And therefore that contributed to bringing stability in that country. If he didn't play a role with others, I think as we speak, Sudan could be having serious civil war, even though there's still pockets of conflict in that country. I mean, the tension in Somalia and the Sahel region and also other parts of the IGAD region, I think he can play an important role. Libya currently is the main headache for the African continent. I mean, I think for me, Libya is a failed state. I think the two leaders will look at how they can also assist in that regard, because President Ramaphosa, as the incoming chair of AU, he has to ensure that that vision or that target of silencing the guns in 2020, we are now in 2020, is realized by the African continent. But unfortunately, you still have conflicts in different parts of the continent, like as I indicated, the IGAD region, but also the Great Lakes region. And I think him having demonstrated a will in his country to unite the country, but also to unite the region, he can also assist in ensuring that we have a peaceful and prosperous continent. You know, the coalition that he has formed speaks to prosperity, and I think that prosperity should be extended to the entire continent.
And we do know that German Chancellor Angela Merkel said that these peace talks, when you're talking about Libya, will be held in Berlin. And she was saying that she hoped that, these joint efforts from Russia as well as Turkey will help in calming the situation there. Considering, Sophie, South Africa's chairpersonship of the African Union, how can it, rope in Ethiopia to play a more significant role?
Well, President Ramaphosa, with the experience of diplomacy and intervention, when we talk about the Lockerbie bombing, when we talk about the Great Lakes region, when we talk about the standoff in Sudan, South Africa has been involved, and therefore South Africa has got experience and capacity, but they will also to ensure that the whole continent is at peace, in line with the founding fathers of the African National Congress, who said they would pursue a peaceful Africa. For example, the ANC is the oldest liberation organization on the continent, is anchored around, or it was anchored around, peace, not only in South Africa, but around the continent and the world at large. Therefore, the current president of South Africa will have to ensure that he continues with that quest, or that aim and the objective of the founding fathers of our liberation organizations, all of them, to ensure that the continent is at peace. And therefore, the relations between him and Prime Minister Abiy can assist a lot, because already he's doing it, and perhaps we can learn a thing or two from him. And the fact that he has been able to get this Nobel Peace Prize because of his work on peace building, we can learn a lot, and he can lead the way. And he is very young. The good thing is that you are not talking about an old despot here whose credibility is at stake. You're talking about a young leader who came into power only in 2018, even though there are questions and there are issues that he still has to address, but at least he has shown leadership as a young leader, and I think that is important. And I think President Ramaphosa will be able to engage with him in a fruitful manner. And as I move out of the shot, I just want to show you preparations are currently now underway, and the military will soon be converging here to prepare for his arrival. We expect him to arrive around 12 o'clock, and here you can see the service provider starting to roll the red carpet, and the president, who was in Kimberley, who attended a church service this morning, I'm sure right now he is flying back home, back in the capital city, Pretoria, and soon we'll see President Ramaphosa and some dignitaries, South African representatives, standing here waiting for the Ethiopian delegation to receive Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And on that note, I think it's back to you in studio, because the military is on my case as we speak, because they want to start putting up their ceremony or rehearsals here.
All right, so we'll leave it there. Sophie, we'll try to come back to you at around 12 o'clock or so, when the Prime Minister as well as the President arrive at the Union buildings. Our foreign editor, Sophie Mokoena.